What if the thing holding you back isn't your talent, but it's the way you've trained your mind to respond to the pressure that you're dealing with? If you train your mind like an athlete using the CHAMP framework, everything can change.
Hello, and thank you for joining the Champion Within podcast, your premier go-to spot for unlocking your winning mindset. Whether you're an athlete looking to elevate your game to the next level, a coach leading the charge, an enthusiastic parent cheering from the sidelines, or an educator molding young minds, the Champion Within podcast episodes are packed with value, sharing the tools and strategies to unlock your potential and rise to new heights. Hosted by mentor, coach, and mindset leader Kate McCauley. Let's sit back and enjoy today's episode while discovering your champion within. And now, here's Kate.
Hey, welcome back into the podcast. Today, we're talking about something that can completely change the way you perform in every area of your life. I know that many of you are listening because you're here for your athlete. Maybe you're a coach, you're a parent, but I have a secret to tell you. When you teach this to your athletes, you're training your brain too. You're training their brain to use this in school, use this later in life during a tough conversation, when they have a job, when they show up for an interview, if they have to give a presentation. You're training your mind and their mind to perform like an athlete in all areas of life. Elite athletes, the best of the best, don't just train physically. They train mentally. Training mentally isn't an extra for the best athletes. It is part of the program. They prepare for the pressure. They practice focus. They learn how to reset after mistakes. This applies to way more than just sports, as I just mentioned. You might be leading a classroom if you're a teacher. Maybe you're running a business, parenting your own kids, trying to grow personally, managing a team, working towards a goal that you have, something that matters really deeply to you. Every single day, you are asked to do things that impact you mentally. Every single day, your athletes are asked to do things that impact them on a mental level. This is why I teach the CHAMP framework. CHAMP stands for confidence, habits, attitude, mental imagery, and purpose. These are the 5 pillars of the mental performance work that I get to do with people. C for confidence. I need you to remember people are not born with confidence. It is trained. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting to feel confident before they take actions. Athletes, the best ones, they don't do that. They build confidence through preparation, through failure, through repetition. Recently working with a cheer team who was preparing for states, they were feeling the pressure. The pressure was high. The nerves were real. Every athlete was worried about making mistakes. Every athlete had different worries. We stopped focusing on what if we fail, and we started training confidence intentionally. We worked on breathing before they performed, positive self-talk, visualization, resetting quickly after a mistake. Most importantly, we focused on the evidence, not the feelings. Evidence. They reminded themselves, we've trained for this. My body knows what to do. We've hit this routine before. We know how to recover. That team went on to win New York States, not because they never felt nervous, but because they trusted themselves. They trusted themselves under the pressure. They trusted their teammates under pressure. They trusted the coaching staff. Confidence is self-trust. You build self-trust by keeping promises to yourself and by taking that action before you feel fully ready. Yes, I know it's scary. Self-talk is going to help you through that. I need to jump in here. Coach, quick question. Do your athletes look amazing at practice, but when the game gets tight or you have a big competition, they panic, lose focus, fall apart, start talking negatively before they even compete, missed plays, bad body language, heads down? You know they have the talent, but pressure is winning. That's not a talent problem. That's a mental side of the sport problem. I run a team program called The Champion Within, where I train athletes using my CHAMP framework: confidence, habits, attitude, mental imagery, and purpose. I literally retrain their brains so they know how to stay calm, get focused, and compete like the champions they are. When the moments get big, they need to know how to regulate their nervous system. It needs to be automatic. The teams that win consistently, they train their minds, not just their bodies. Just go down to the show notes, click on the link, or send me a DM on Instagram with the word team, and I'll get you everything you need. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. H stands for habits. Your mindset is built on the small little habits that you repeat daily. They stack up over time. I know in this world of quick scrolling, we want this instant gratification in every little area. I myself, I'm looking at things like eye cream. How can I do this? How quick are the results going to happen? This is repeated daily work. You need to put the reps in, just like you do physically in your sport. You need to be doing these repeated daily reps for mental performance. High performers, they rely on habits because the habits create that stability. One powerful example of this is when I'm working with educators recently. I'm in a workshop. We're talking about communication and collaborating inside the classroom, talking about all the support staff that push in to deal with their students. And they were thinking about how can all of these staff members who come into the classrooms every single day, and some pull students out to do different types of work like speech therapy or PT, these special education teachers, the therapists, the behavioral interventionists, the specialists, all the aides, the one-to-ones. If that communication breaks down, the frustration is going to build up fast. And then people start having the drama, talking to each other, all the things. That's where the issues happen. And it is not because people don't know what to do. It's a breakdown in communication. It is a breakdown in expectations. The schools that I've worked with in these workshops, they thrive because they create intentional habits around that communication. Simple things like check-ins before class, clear expectations, consistent language with the students. These are mindset habits that are not glamorous, but they are powerful. They work with your educators, and of course, they work with our sports teams as well. You can train your brain like an athlete when you are an educator, when you are a student, when you're in the workplace, when you're having a tough conversation. You can use these things. Your brain doesn't turn off in these different environments. And yes, I know a lot of people tune into this podcast to help your athletes. Of course, these tools are for your athletes. I go work with athletes, workshops as a coach every single month with them, one-to-one with athletes. But I also go into the corporate space. I go in and work with educators. I teach these to students because your brain can use these tools in all of these different places. When you use these things in coaching models for parents, that helps bring these families together so that you can support this learning beyond the sport, beyond the classroom, and it breaks down that overwhelm and that shame. The parents, the majority of them, I can't say all of them, they want to help. They want their child, their athlete, their student to be successful. And that takes mindset work too. Parents often feel like, I'm failing. I don't know what to do. My child is struggling and I can't fix it. They want to be a part of it. The village mentality, you've heard me talk about this before if you've been around for any amount of time on the podcast. It takes a village for you to get your athletes, your students to be successful. The coaches, the educators who make the biggest impact, they lead with empathy, consistency, and communication. They are all habits and they all build trust. Those simple, tiny daily habits, they're creating that culture on your team, in your classroom, in your school as a whole. You can do this as an individual and set up habits. It doesn't have to take over your whole day. Quick things that you can do, stacking a habit with things you already do in the morning. Honestly, I love working with teams, but I also love going into schools and workplace organizations because it doesn't matter if it's a softball team who's working through a slump, a basketball program who's trying to build this next play mentality, or if it's educators learning how to communicate with each other and perform better together. Mindset changes the culture. When I'm speaking at an event or I'm running a workshop, if I'm with a sports team, it all comes back to training your brain like an athlete so that you can lead, communicate, and perform at a higher level without burning yourself out. I need to repeat that part. Without burning yourself out. This does not take over the practice. This does not take over your entire classroom day. This does not take over the entire work morning. If you're thinking that my team, the people I work with need this, reach out to me. I would love to support your people or your team. Letter A, let's jump to the next part of the framework. Letter A stands for attitude. Probably one of the most important things when I was coaching different sports, and of course now as the mental performance coach. Attitude shapes your response. And when things don't go your way, attitude is going to help you. Every single athlete knows when a slump happens. They can feel when things are just off. If I'm working with that softball team, for example, that I mentioned, they're in a major slump offensively, the girls on the team would literally start spiraling. After strikeouts, it would just become one bad inning after another. It would be this emotional carryover to the next game. This is where the mindset training came in most, and it mattered most. Pressure is going to expose these thinking patterns that we have. These slumps, the mistakes, that's when the thinking patterns are going to be exposed. Of course, when things are going well, it's easy to perform. But when things are bad and we get into that overwhelm, the process of thinking of all of the negative, your brain, remember, is going to try to prove you right. And that's when we started to work on reframing, changing that thought pattern. Instead of the constant, I can't hit right now, I'm in a slump, I had to help them shift to, what adjustment can I make? Instead of carrying that mistake from the last inning, we practiced resetting pitch by pitch. It was a complete mindset shift for my softball teams to understand that a bad moment did not have to become a bad game. The same thing applies in life. That rough meeting does not have to ruin your day. A mistake does not define you. One hard season does not mean that you're failing. Your attitude is going to impact how you perform. I am constantly telling people that I work with, what you do next matters most. Of course, nobody likes to make a mistake. Nobody likes to be in the slump, lose the game, perform poorly at work and school, at your sport. But what you do next matters most. We can't go back and change that mistake. You have to stop sticking and sitting in that setback and focus on the growth. All right, let's move to the next one. Letter M, mental imagery. This is one of the most underused performance tools and the most powerful. Your brain responds so strongly to visualization. I tell everyone I work with, it is my number one thing I want you to do. It is my favorite thing to guide individuals, guide teams through. It's why elite athletes are mentally rehearsing their success before competition. I want to give you an example of swimmers. When I was working with them before their races, instead of just focusing on physical training, which of course is important, mentally they were walking through every detail, stepping onto the block, hearing the whistle, feeling calm in their body, recovering if the start wasn't perfect, finishing strong. We also used EFT tapping to help regulate nerves and calm their nervous system before the race, after when they were getting feedback. Because performance, it's not just physical. Your nervous system matters, your thoughts matter, your breathing matters. Visualization will help you get your brain feel familiar with this pressure before that real moment arrives. The coolest part about visualization to me is the more you do this, your brain thinks, I've already been here before. I know what to do. Your brain quite literally doesn't know the difference between reality and what you are picturing during those visualizations. There's a lot of misconceptions about how do you do visualization? Do I have to have my eyes closed? Do I have to be perfectly still? No, you don't. The short story is no, you don't. And I teach this in my workshops, how to do this, when to do this, all the questions come up. It really can be done anywhere and used for so many different things. People I know use it for presentations, difficult conversations, big meetings, obviously those sports competitions, practice, parent moments. Coaches that I worked with have told me they visualized having a conversation with a parent. Your brain is going to perform better when it has mentally rehearsed success, when it has mentally rehearsed failure. I know that sounds crazy, but you need to see yourself failing, navigating through it, and that next play, that next step mentality. Letter P, our last one here, purpose. Purpose is what is going to keep you going when things feel hard. Some people may say, it's my why. What are you connected to? Related to purpose, you need to remember that motivation comes and goes. Everyone is super excited when they first start working with me, all these mindset tools, the CHAMP framework. But motivation and that excitement, that high, it comes and goes. Of course, I keep people accountable. That's why they have me as their coach. But you're not always going to have that motivation. Purpose, however, that's deeper. I'm going to share an example with you. I was working with a basketball team and the concept of next play mentality came up. Let's say you miss a shot. Next play. Turnover. Next play. Bad call by the ref. Next play. Your purpose, it's going to help athletes stop living in that mistake and instead get to the bigger mission. Instead of being in that one moment, their individual purpose and the purpose of the team as a whole helps athletes stop living inside that mistake. Because remember, the mission is way bigger than one moment. The same thing applies to your life and to your athletes' lives. You're going to have hard conversations. You're going to have hard seasons. And I'm not just talking about sports here. A few things I want you to remember about your purpose, your athlete's purpose. It can change over time. I'd be shocked if it didn't. Maybe right now your purpose is becoming a calmer parent or a calmer coach, building stronger relationships. Maybe athletes, helping them believe in themselves, creating an impact through education or your leadership at work, proving to yourself that you can actually grow through mistakes or hard things. When your why, your purpose is strong, you're going to recover faster. You have to focus and realize, what is my purpose? We write it down. We come back to it. We review it. If not, you're not anchored in. You're not holding on to it. Purpose is what is going to give you, your athletes, that resilience. I know you showed up here to figure out, how can I start using this CHAMP framework in my actual life? And I don't want you to overhaul your entire life overnight. As always, I don't want you to pick all of the things. Choose one of the pillars from CHAMP, CHAMP, confidence, habits, attitude, mental imagery, purpose. I'm going to challenge you, if you're working with a team or students, and that team could be a sports team, your team at work, ask them, pick one of these, CHAMP. And it doesn't serve you or them well if they pick the one they think they should be picking, all the shoulds and the supposed tos. Because if you say, well, Kate said attitude was really important, or mental imagery is so underused and powerful, I'm going to pick one of those. If that's not the area that you're struggling with, if you're struggling with confidence, you should pick confidence. If you're not sure what your purpose is, you should pick that one so you can figure it out, anchor into that, and come back to it on the hard days. I want you to ask yourself, where am I struggling the most right now? Is it confidence, habits, attitude, mental imagery, or my purpose? Then I want you to write one small practice around it. Maybe it's breathing before stressful moments, journaling at night. Maybe you're going to visualize before you perform. You're going to focus on your self-talk, catching that negativity and reframing it, creating some sort of reset routine. That could be a habit. This is how you train like an athlete, and this is how you can change your life too. If you showed up to this podcast to help your athlete, I'm here for it. But just know you're helping them change their life too. And if you showed up and listen to this podcast for other areas of your life, that's amazing. And you're going to change more than just that one area. You're going to use it at work, and it's going to impact your personal relationships as well. Your brain doesn't shut off. These things are going to help you in all areas. As I wrap up, my final thoughts here is you do not need to wear a jersey to train like an athlete. Your life already is requiring you to have mental performance every single day. And that CHAMP framework is just giving you a way to strengthen your mental game. And you are doing that intentionally when you focus on confidence, habits, attitude, mental imagery, and purpose. If you train those areas consistently, you are going to notice something really powerful. You will stop reacting to life and you will start leading yourself through it. Your mindset is trainable. Your brain can adapt. Your responses can absolutely improve. The version of you that you're working towards, it is waiting for you to put the mental reps in. That person is going to be built one mental rep at a time. Thanks for tuning in today to the Champion Within podcast. Remember, go down to the show notes, click on that link, set up a call with me. Let's get this started either for you as an individual, your athletes, your team, your workplace. I am here for it. The time is now. Make sure you tune in for our next episode.
Thank you for hanging out with Kate today. And whether you're going to coach, teach, cheer from the sidelines, or hitting the field yourself, remember, mindset is everything. Don't forget to follow the show for the latest episodes, as we all need a little extra motivation, humor, and sanity in our busy lives. Now, go and unleash your champion within you, one step at a time. We're always rooting for you.